So that one's great. Now we get into things that are a little bit more complicated. We've got two types of fields here that are essentially the same thing, the multiple checkboxes and the drop-down to select. These will require that you provide it with a list of options. Now, where they differ is that a drop-down select is such that the list of options, say my list of options is cat, dog, and fish. All right. So with a drop-down select, a user can only select one of these states. So it could either be, a cat, or it could be a dog, or it could be a fish. It can't be all of these things at once. That's the difference between a drop-down and the other property that we're going to look at here, which is the multi-select. So if I go back to change this one to multiple checkboxes, and this is really handy if you're not sure if it should be a drop-down select or if it should be multiple checkboxes. You can switch between them while building this out, and it'll reserve your labels here. So this is something that isn't normally possible after you've defined properties. It's very difficult to switch them from one property type to another. But here we go. We've got multiple checkboxes. Now, where this differs from the drop-down select is in that you can choose all of these things at the same time or just one of them. They can essentially on a form, they can click on any of these things. So it looks like this, right? So we've got, cat, dog, and fish. So they could choose all of these things. Whereas with the drop down select at preview, it's I only get one of these options. So that's the major difference between drop down select and multi select. There's a couple of really handy things that maybe a lot of people don't know when dealing with these two sorts of fields. First being that I can load options right here. So if I've got another property that has time zone, for example, that's a great one. I can load options from another property to here to make a duplicate. So if I load options from time zone here, load those options, boom, I've just populated a field that's a drop down with all of the time zone options available, right? This is actually very handy for a lot of instances where you might duplication of a property across different records. Might have a property that's a placeholder, or you want to save the state of a property before you make a change to it. So you might want to put it like save it to another property temporarily, or just for reference in the future. So that's a great handy way to sort of duplicate a property in HubSpot is with that load options piece. Another great feature with this builder here is if I had no options, I can paste things from a spreadsheet in here. Let's just see if I've got a spreadsheet available here. Let's go with, so yeah, sorry, you'll be seeing nothing on the screen right now because I'm just going to grab something from a spreadsheet here. So this is a potential list of partners. Okay, so what I can do is if I have options laid out already in a spreadsheet, if I'm planning this property out ahead of time, I can just paste those options in here, and HubSpot knows that each cell of the spreadsheet is a different line, so it's going to put it as a different option. So this makes building these sorts of properties very simple to be able to paste in, multiple options all in one go, right? And so down here at the bottom in our preview, we can see that that paste was quite successful there. Yeah, so that is an overview. Now, everything I just talked about for drop-down select does apply for the multi-checkboxes thing property as well. The only difference being that, Multiple checkboxes allows you to select multiple options simultaneously, whereas Dropdown Select, you only get one option. So that's the key takeaway there. Now moving on to some simpler pieces here. Radio Select is very similar to the Dropdown Select, whereby it's actually exactly the same as a Dropdown Select. The only difference for Radio Select and Dropdown Select is how it appears on a form. Okay. So drop-down select will appear on a form exactly like this preview down in the bottom, where it gives us a list of options in a drop-down. You click that and it pops up with your options here. Radio select is different in that okay, so I can't demo this because HubSpot's preview here for Radio Select doesn't make any sense. The way Radio Select works when it's on a form is that it will list all of the options down the page and provide a little circle next to each option. I'm sure you've seen these on forms before. Provides a little circle next to each option. And then it allows you to pick just one by clicking on the circle to select the thing. So it's just a visual aspect. The way it's stored in HubSpot is exactly the same. Drop-down select, radio select, they work the same on the back end. It's just how it's visually displayed, whether it's a drop-down box where they click and everything pops up and they choose their option, much like this, or with the little radio icons and everything is displayed on the page where you can just kind of click which radial you want there. So that's an interesting little difference between radio and drop down select. They are the same but slightly different in terms of display. Now we've got the date picker. This one's super simple. You know, anybody and their dog, maybe not your dog, but anybody can understand this one. If you have a date picker property, you click on this field and it pops up a calendar, which you can choose the date. So that's a really handy UI experience for anybody who has to enter in dates, takes the lift off. So it's a great property to use to track those sorts of things. And from a sales pipeline perspective, definitely like a contract start and end date is a great example of configuring something for this, where you use a date property for a sales rep to be able to define what those are. So that's a great one as well. It's also really good for timestamps in workflows. Now we get into some other properties here that are a little more complex. We got well, numbers aren't that complex. It only ever takes in a number. That's how you can remember what a number is. You cannot enter text. If I try to enter text, it will remove that text. So it's only going to take in that number. Now there's a few options here. If I want to display the number as a percentage, for example, so if I put in, you know, a decimal 50 here, it's going to convert that to 0.5%. If I put in 100, that's going to be 100%. You would think that, you know, 100% should actually just be 1, but that's not the case. Okay, not for the number field, but it is we'll get to that a little later for some other fields. So that just displays it as a percentage, whatever number that you have. And the currency formatting, same thing. This will just display it as a dollar value. We could have $1,000 there. It puts the currency in for us automatically, and will format you know, the decimal places and the commas correctly. Then we've got unformatted number. This is just raw numbers. That differs from the formatted number in that the formatted number will add in your commas for you, and yeah, so that's all it does. It does comma placement there. So that's an overview of those number properties.
Thanks for watching, and keep removing those revenue roadblocks. If you want more videos like this, Follow our channel for fresh, new content every day. Check out our RevOps playlist, or how about this video chosen just for you? See you next time.